Valkyrion didn't end up being that crazy, and we got some more stream reveals.
Take a look at who I am now. I'm stronger than ever. And if you ever doubted me, you should've known better.
So as you know, last time we saw what the Astral Plane does, the new mechanic Genesis currently is only getting, but who knows if other clans will get similar kind of planes and stuff like that. It would be pretty weird if it's only Genesis, but we'll see. For now, Genesis only, but it had a secret skill, both the plane and Valkyrion. And now we know the skills, and they're actually not that crazy. There's a few things that make it kind of annoying for the player rather than the opponent. So the plane says you may call star gods regardless of grade to it. If a card other than a star god is placed on the astral plane, put it to the drop zone. Units on the astral plane may attack from the back row and perform drive checks. Cards revealed from that drive check go to the soul instead of being added to hand. At the end of your turn, put a unit on the astral plane to the bottom of your deck. So that means that once you place that Valkyrion on there, it only stays for a turn. It does get drive checks, but they don't go to hand. But so you could have many drive checks, get some crits and all that kind of stuff. So that does make it scarier, but then it's only one turn. So you really got to win that turn. Now, Valkyrion says continuous, this card cannot be ridden, obviously. Auto, if this is on a circle other than the astral plane, retire it. And auto on R, when it is placed from hand, look at top 5 cards of your deck, put 1 to drop zone, and during that turn, this unit's drive check amount becomes the same as the grade of the card sent with this effect. If you send a Valkyrion itself, you get 5 drive checks on him, I'm assuming. If you get a grade 3, you get 3 drive checks. So you're basically hoping to find a very high grade in that top 5. And so your Vanguards will swing with twin drive, and your Valkyrion will swing with anything from 0 to 5 drives. So that is huge. However, here is the issue. What we were kind of assuming was that the astral plane, once it's placed, would search Valkyrion from your deck. But that's not the case. You still need to draw into it. So there's currently 2 requirements that make this card a bit awkward. In the sense that, first of all, you need to hit 5 force markers on the Vanguard. So this means you need to spam the new Uranus, and maybe with Cumin, you know the jokes. So yeah, Cumin Uranus is a very good combo, but it's still 5. It's still a bit weird. You want to ride one, and then you want to call one from hand, meaning you need to have 2. Then you can't really rewrite next turn. So just some awkwardness there, but it's doable. And all of that would be fine if it wasn't for the fact that you still have to draw into this grade 5. And if you run 4, your deck gets clunky, but if you run less, then it's not that consistent to find it. So there's just all kinds of things that make this very strong when you get to it, like really flashy, but just not that consistent. Do note, this is just from a trial deck. Genesis is getting a booster set the month after. So we could very well see something where the Uranus is just a card you want to be calling to rear to add your force markers even quicker, and maybe the VR of the set is a grade 3 that makes this way consistent. Maybe on plays get 2 force markers, also fetch a grade 5 from deck to hand, like something nutty like that. If they are going hard for this mechanic, we can kind of assume that the VR will make all of this even better. We can kind of assume that the cards in that set will really make it so this whole gimmick becomes good. So that is basically what we have right now. The trial deck version is flashy but not consistent, but the booster set may change all of that. Now we also have a dark irregular card. It says when placed, put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck in any order, and if you put 1 or more cards, draw the same number of cards as the number of cards put, shuffle your deck. Do note it's only on V, so you need to ride it. So it's kind of like a re-mulligan, but only when riding it. So we've seen a card like this before. I don't recall for which clan, but since it's V only, it's not that amazing, I would say. Also only 8k base, so are you really gonna want to be rushed by grade 1s by placing this? Then a grade 2 promo that looks like Reject Blaster something. Auto on R, when your Blaster Dark is placed during your turn, this unit gets power plus 5k. Just a beater. We're assuming we're gonna see some more Blaster Dark support with the new Revenger stuff. Transient Revenger already supported Blaster Dark. Then we have Stealth Rogue of Summoning Jiraiya. Auto on V, when placed, draw a card and put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. So you're mulliganing 1, but again only on V. Act on R, cost counterblast 1, and one of your Vanguards gets power plus 10k. If Murakumo doesn't start getting some counter charging we're gonna have an issue, so we'll see how that turns out. Then Stealth Beast Spellhound. When placed, costs Soul Blast 2. Search your deck for up to 1 Stealth Beast Spellhound and call it to R. So this builds your field, but Soul Blast 2. If you are running the Shirayuki thing, you really don't want to be using this. I don't know. It depends. Of course, it may just be that we try to build an entirely new Murakumo deck. That's an option. It also says increase or decrease that unit's and this unit's power to match your Vanguard's power until end of turn. You're turning both of them into, well, a 9k on grade 2, which is bad, and a 12k on grade 3, which is fine. But once again, it's not that insane for a Soul Blast 2, I would say, unless the rest of the deck really starts supporting this kind of playstyle. Gets hella Soul Charge, because Soul Blast 2 is a lot when you are still running the Shirayuki engine. Now, then we have the VR Samurai Chieftain Hyuga. Act on V once per turn, cost Counterblast 1, search your deck for up to 1 card with the same grade as one of your opponent's units, call it to R, shuffle your deck, and until end of turn, change the card name of all of your and your opponent's units to this unit's card name. The whole playstyle of copying the same names and all of that stuff gets boosted. So we do have some old cards that already support this, but it's not particularly Zanbaku Shirayuki kind of support. Then the second skill, Act on V, costs Soul Blast 1 grade 3 specifically, and return all of your opponent's rear guards with the same card name as your or your opponent's other unit to the deck and shuffle it. So this is a board wipe, because remember, with the first skill, you change all of your opponent's units' names, and then now you say, oh, everything with that name back to the deck. So you are wiping the board even better than Gauntlet Buster, but the issue is that you're not really getting any push. All you're doing is +1 to your field, but you are board wiping. Like, a board wipe is very strong in standard, but the issue is that Murakumo has no real push without Shirayuki. It really needs that Shirayuki to end the game. And so when you are wiping board, I can see this being like a really cool tech against decks that require their board, like Bermuda Triangle. Really doesn't like this card, but then you still need to win the game at some point. And that is, I don't know, it's kind of like Mega Colony Syndrome, I would say, where you use a turn to annoy your opponent the next turn, but you didn't really have a game plan that turn that improved your own state, if that makes sense. You're stopping your opponent from having fun, but you yourself aren't doing anything. I can see this being like a really good tech, or if it's like a deck by itself, if we see even more support that blends into this. We did see the grade 2 promo that then buffs your whole field with the same name, stuff like that could start happening, but overall, against Excel, this hurts. If you're going up against an Aqua Force or a Nova Grappler with a decked out field, and then you go, well, shuffle them all back, enjoy, and then next turn you go into the double Shirayuki or something like that, that can really hurt. So again, I can see this being like a really painful tech, but it will need a few more cards to really be a deck on its own that can actually punish the opponent, I would say. So that is all for today. Hope you found this interesting. If you did, please subscribe to the Solemn Vanguard channel and click the bell to stay up to date. Like the video if you liked the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I will see you soon. Ciao.